Hi, John and Mary. Nice to see you again. I've been working hard on your program. As far as your goals go, I want to just confirm that we're still on track with the same goals that we established at the last meeting. Your number one goal is to reduce any estate and gift tax liability and ensure all estate planning documents are in order. Two, review your insurance contracts and discuss implications of purchasing a long-term care policy. Reduce personal income taxes, and based on your risk tolerance levels, recommend a diversified portfolio that meets your investment needs and expectations. Does that sound like it's correct and good? So I know that you're both willing to take investment risk to increase your investments and achieve your investment goals. As far as your current and future economic assumptions that we established last time, I just want to confirm that those haven't changed. You're still in the 37% federal marginal tax bracket, which you will be now and in the foreseeable future. You expect inflation to be at 2.25%, the risk-free rate to be 1%, the market premium rate to be 7%, and the market standard deviation to be at 11%. I did prepare some documents, statement of financial position, ratio analysis, and statement of cash flow, which are attached to this document. Your current situation is very strong. You've got a current net worth of $12,874,080 and a net disposable income of $284,472. Right now you have quite a bit in liquid assets. And I'm going to be recommending that you reduce your liquid assets down because you can, I did some ratios for you, and your current ratio, which is your current assets to liabilities, is very strong at 41.34%, which means you have too much liquidity. It should be about 1. And if you invest these assets at other investments, you can get a higher yield and get better investment yield. You did ask about maximizing your 529 contributions. You can each contribute $75,000 for a total of $150,000 for the year, but that's actually 5 years worth of of 529 contributions. So you won't be able to invest in your 529 plans for the next 4 years after this year. The advantages of doing that are that it has maximum growth potential, and it has tax-free growth if it's used for education. If it's not used for education, there's a 10% penalty, and it's taxed. There's also disadvantages. You don't get to dollar cost average, and there's limited investment opportunities within the 529 plans. With your cash flow, you've got a strong cash flow position. with net disposable income of $284,472. Your current savings are significantly greater than what you need for an emergency fund. I'm recommending a 6-month emergency fund, and based on your income of $651,000, I'm recommending that you get down to about $325,947 in current cash and equivalents. Right now, you have $850,000. In current cash and cash equivalents. So you can get that down and invest the rest of that. You also can use the cash value of the 2 life insurance policies, which adds an additional $1,140,000 to your available amount for your emergency fund, for a total of $1,990,000. This is extremely over what you need for an emergency fund. As far as your primary residence, it's currently valued at $900,000 with no mortgage, which is very good. You also have a vacation home valued at $750,000 with a remaining mortgage balance of $54,908. The mortgage is fixed at 5% with 52 payments remaining. With such a short time left on the mortgage and the closing costs of a new mortgage at a lower rate, the closing costs would negate the mortgage change. So I'm recommending that you keep your current mortgage on your investment home. I'd also recommend that you reduce your liquid assets and invest them into higher yielding asset classes, especially given your willingness to take investment risks. The amount that you have in your emergency fund should be in either money market mutual funds, savings accounts, or certificate of deposit with maturities of 6 months or less, so they can be quickly taken out and not lose value. As far as the risk management summary, I did review all of your insurance policies of your primary residence and your vacation residence and your automobile policy and your 2 life insurance policies, and made a recommendation for a long-term care policy, which is included. They're also attached to this review. First of all, your primary residence is underinsured. It should be at least insured for 80% of the value of $775,000, or insured for $620,000, and your current policy is only for $400,000. So you would end up having a loss of at least $35,984 on a $100,000 loss. Your vacation home is slightly overinsured. Since the fair market value of the house is $550,000, you should reduce your homeowner's policy from $460,000 to $440,000. This would give you the recommended 80% coverage. Your automobile policy is also inadequate in the property damage coverage. You should increase it to at least $50,000 Your present $15,000 is grossly inadequate in today's costs. Fourthly, you should purchase an umbrella policy. This would increase your liability coverage on your homeowners and policy, or your homeowners and automobile policies, and it's very cheap coverage. You can also make the adjustments to your homeowners and automobile policies to meet the minimum requirements for the umbrella policy if it's necessary. I would recommend probably at least a $5 million policy, which should adequately cover you. Fifth, your Universal One Life policy has a face value of $2 million and cash value of $955,000. Your Universal Life Policy 2 has a face value of $400,000 and a cash value of $185,000. You currently have the funds to make both policy payments, so I'm recommending that you keep the policies both in force. They will be passed on to either the primary beneficiary, which would be either spouse, or the contingent beneficiaries, Edward and Brent, at 50% each. Sixth, I'm recommending a comprehensive long-term policy that allows each spouse to share the other spouse's benefits. It would pay for either 3 years or up to $300,000, whichever comes first. The annual premium is $5,250 for John and $4,000 for Mary. Both the premiums would be completely allowable as medical deductions if you itemize your taxes next year and meet the AGI limitations of 7.5%. I would also recommend flood insurance policy for your vacation home to prevent damage that's not covered under your homeowner's policy. Flooding is specifically excluded from homeowners policies, and since you had damage to the home before, you should get it to prevent future damage. I would like to recommend an agent that I feel can best help you meet the changes in your policy and to help you to apply for a new long-term care policy and provide you with excellent service. For complete disclosure, I did receive a $1,333 finder's fee from him for his referral period. As far as the investment planning, I did an analysis of the investment portfolio and an investment policy statement, which is prepared and reviewed for your review and attached to this plan. Your current situation is definitely not well diversified. You also have some other weaknesses. You only have 4 stocks and you've got $940,000 in just 4 separate stocks. It's grossly underperforming as the cost basis is $960,000 and its current value is $940,000, and you've owned these for quite a number of years, as you can see. Your mutual fund portfolio is worth $2,907,682. It's diversified but will need to be rebalanced. John's 401k account is worth $1,054,540, and it's slightly diversified within S&P, which is Standard & Poor's 500 index, but it's really under diversified because it only has that one index stock or stock fund in it, and it should be more diversified given the value of the 401k account. Mary's 403b account is worth $545,000 and seems to be managed quite well, so no recommendations are needed for it. As far as the recommendations, I would advise a tax harvest strategy of selling stock A, which is grossly underperforming. You see stock A, cost basis is $225,000. Right now it's worth $7,000. So it's almost worthless at this point in time. So you could take the $218,000 capital loss, which could be utilized to offset the $10,773 in capital gains from the $71,820 profit from selling your bond mutual fund, which I'm recommending. You get out of the corporate bond fund and get into individual municipal bonds with the remainder of the cost basis of the bond fund, which is the $350,000. So you could also use your down payment that you wanted to invest and also your installment payments of $2,730,301 for the year to be put into individual municipal bonds. These bonds are not taxed at a federal level. Many are not taxed at state or local levels either. This will help you to achieve one of your goals, to help to pay less taxes, as the bonds are tax-free. Because you're in the highest tax bracket, it's best for you to hold the municipal bonds because they offer a much higher yield than the taxable bonds while decreasing your taxes. Now, as far as the John's 401k account, we will need to see what other options are available in his 401k account before I can actually make recommendations to that. So, and Mary's account should stay the same. Future installments can be made to diversify your stock and mutual fund portfolio. And I will make sure that you avoid investing in any tobacco stocks, as I know that you don't want to have any tobacco stocks. I believe that this will be a good asset allocation for you because this will get you up to about 45% in bonds, and then we would have 50% in stocks and about 5% in cash. John has a John also has a non-qualified single premium deferred annuity with Mary as the primary beneficiary. Its original cost basis is $25,000 and is currently valued at $102,000. You should continue to let it grow as you don't need the funds presently. John also has the 1918 mint 24-cent inverted Jenny stamp worth $725,000 that you estimate will appreciate at approximately 8% per year. If you sold it in 10 years for $1.5 million, you would net I know I did that calculation, but I can't find it right now. You would net $1,088,600 after paying federal income taxes of $228,900, which is 28%. As far as retirement planning, John just sold his business for $4 million. With 25% down payment, 8-year note at 4% interest, and started payments of March 1st of 2021. You also, John, receive Social Security benefits of $2,200 monthly, and you have $11,000 of earned income for the year. In January, Mary, you started collecting reduced Social Security benefits, and you also have a school pension. Your monthly Social Security benefits are $1,100. As far as the income tax planning, tax calculations were I did tax calculations there for the sale of the 1918 mint 24-cent stamp. These are the calculations here between the 15% commission and then the less the cost basis, and then the tax rate's 28%. So the federal liability is the $228,900. As I already mentioned, you're in the 37% federal tax bracket, which is the highest tax bracket. I've suggested selling your bond fund, investing those funds and your down payment and your installment payments into a diversified group of individual municipal bonds. It'd be much more tax efficient going forward. You can also diversify your stock and mutual fund portfolio and purchase either ETF or mutual funds that are tax efficient, or growth stocks in your non-qualified accounts that don't put out dividends, which would be taxable. You could also rent your vacation home. Although there is liability and damage risks, the rental income for fewer than 15 days is non-taxable. As far as your estate planning, I did a property owner spreadsheet and estate tax calculation. We're prepared for each spouse and also attached for your review. Neither of you are subject to estate taxes if either one of you were to pass this year, but each estate is subject to excessive probate fees and expenses when you die. Your only estate planning documents are your wills, leaving each estate to the other spouse, with secondary beneficiaries of your children, Edward and Brent, per stirpes, which means if either of the children die, then their children would inherit the funds. I'm recommending that you change the title of your vacation home from solo ownership to tenancy by the entirety. This would avoid probate costs and transfer the property directly to the surviving spouse. You should meet with an estate planning attorney to review your wills and obtain powers of attorney and healthcare proxies also. You could also discuss irrevocable life insurance trusts for the insurance policies. This would get those out of your estates also. As far as the implementation, I would recommend that you make an appointment with the estate planning attorney as soon as possible. You can pay for the expenses from cash in your savings account. As far as an action plan, you are financially strong, but I've identified several weaknesses in your overall situation. Your immediate action plan corresponds to the prioritized goals and will put you in an overall insurance, taxable, financial, and estate situation in a much stronger position going forward. First of all, I want you to meet with an estate planning attorney as soon as possible to get the appropriate estate planning documents and possibly trusts to plan for each other's incapacity or death. This was your number one prioritized goal and requires immediate attention. Would it be possible to set up an appointment with an attorney this week? Good. I look forward to getting any follow-up from that, and if he needs any of my help, just let me know. You have inadequate coverage on your primary residence and too much coverage on your vacation home. You need an umbrella policy and long-term care insurance. I would like to recommend an insurance agent who you can call this week to begin the process of obtaining sufficient insurance. This was your number two priority goal and also requires immediate attention. Do you think you can call the insurance agent this week? Good. Reducing your taxes was your third priority. By purchasing individual municipal bonds, you create tax-free income and at a higher yield than your bond fund provides. I've suggested selling your bond fund, using the proceeds along with your down payment and installment payments be placed in individual municipal bonds. This will better balance your portfolio to where it should be. I know that both of you are willing to take investment risk, but currently you have too much risk in your portfolio and it's not diversified. This is your third goal and should be accomplished over the next 1 to 2 months. I can help you to get the municipal bonds and to change the bond fund. I will need to see John's 401k options to see what's available to diversify his 401k, which is part of the number 4 goal, which is diversifying your stock and bond portfolio. I can develop an asset allocation plan to maximize the investment returns, minimize the taxes, and align with your tolerance for investment risk. I'll present my recommendations at our next meeting. Do you think we can meet in the next 2 weeks? And if possible, can you, John, provide me with a list of the funds that are available in your 401k plan prior to that meeting so I can make my recommendations to you? I think that concludes everything that I've got today. Do you have any questions or anything that's changed? Thanks for coming in. I look forward to us working together in the future. Goodbye.